Hey, what's going on, guys? We're on Turkey here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Ironclad, one of the new avatars from Gothic, one that I've been playing a lot recently and having a lot of fun with. Your avatar to repel, rebuff, and rebuke. Ironclad has tap, player draw sight, as they all do, and he takes 2 less damage. A very simple ability that lends itself to multiple different play styles, which I like because he doesn't necessarily push you into one direction. You can sort of use your creativity and use this ability to the best of your liking. I've seen some people do Ironclad with a Voltron approach because, as we've seen with Battle Mage, you need to take damage to deal damage with your avatar, and Ironclad just says, no, you don't. I've shied away from the Voltron strategy and instead gone for a deck that sort of uses your life as a resource, or we play these self-damaging effects knowing that they're going to be less bad being Ironclad. So what I mean by that is we have 3 copies of Searing Truth. 3 mana, target player draws and reveals 2 spells, then takes damage equal to the higher mana cost. This is one of the crazier magics in Gothic. It's a really good draw spell in Fire, but typically will lend itself to very low to the ground aggressive decks because you can just take so much damage if you're not careful. At the same time, it can be a finisher because it is target player and it is damage. So the opponent could be at death's door and you could target them with Searing Truth and just win the game outright that way. Or just like burn them out, like bring them to door with this. It's a very strong, flexible card that we're mostly looking to just draw cards with it and know that we'll take 2 less damage from whatever we reveal. The deck is pretty low to the ground. We have a lot of 3-drops, some 4s, and only, I believe, like 5 or maybe 6 cards that cost 5 or more. So usually we're going to take 1 to 2 damage, and then with a bad draw we might take 3, or Stormware Druid might make us take 4. I just can't find it in myself to cut this guy. We also are playing Narcotic Manuscript, which kind of does the same thing. Bearer has tap, reveal your topmost spell and draw it. Bearer takes damage equal to that card's cost. So Bearer will be Ironclad, and we're just tapping. We're showing our top card, and we're going to take 2 less damage equal to its mana cost. We do also have Illusionist who can kind of help us do that. Pact with the Devil, sacrifice a caster, lose half your life, rounding up if you do draw. Unfortunately, this is life loss, so it doesn't really work with Ironclad in that same way, but it is kind of in the theme of I'm using my life as a resource. And also, we have 5 spellcasters in the deck, 2 Fenvale Muses, 2 Adept Illusionists, 1 Morgana Le Fay. So a lot of the times, I'm not even actually I'm not the caster of this spell. The really funny thing, what actually made me build this deck, is the Inquisition. So, the Inquisition is a 5-mana 3/3 with Genesis. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may banish a card from it. So it's pretty good because he's like a 3/3 body that comes down and just immediately like rips a card out of their hand, gives you the hand knowledge, and banishes too. So there's no way that they're getting it back. But nobody expects these unique mortals, and when an opponent can see this card in your hand or spellbook, you may summon it. And normally, like, this is like a good counter to like cards like Lookout or Feast for Crows, things where they're actually looking at your hand. But we can do the job for us if we reveal the Inquisition off of Searing Truth or Narcotic Manuscript. That is the opponent being able to see the card in our hand or spellbook. Searing Truth says draw and reveal. So by the time we're revealing, it's already in our hand. And the manuscript is kind of the flip side. It's reveal and then draw. So it's in the spellbook. And the Inquisition allows for both, either being in the hand or spellbook. So if we manage to reveal it in these ways, we get a free 3/3 who does do 3 damage to us because that is how these cards work. But we also get to banish a card from their hand, which is awesome. And we get that hand information. To actually help us like check the top, we're playing a ton of rivers, and we have the Fenvale Muses, who will be our primary spellcasters when they're on the board. When they cast spells, you can trigger the Genesis of a nearby river, we have, I think, only 7 rivers, actually. Not a ton, but usually enough to, like, usually we just need 1 for the Fenvale Muse. And we're also playing 2 River Rapids, and we have River of Flame, which is part of these rivers. But River Rapids is a really strong new site that lets you push a minion on connected rivers 1 step. So that can be a friendly minion or an enemy minion. And basically, if the River Rapids is adjacent to another river site, and even if those rivers are adjacent to river sites, it's all a connected river, and you can push a minion once on your turn along these connected rivers. And it gives you a lot of mobility on your turn. You can set up some surprise attacks with your minions. You could play, like if this is in your back row, you could play something back, kind of push it up on your turn and then attack, right? Or just push it to the side. It gives you mobility. You kind of feel like you're AOA when you have River Rapids and enough rivers around. And for defensive sites, we have 3 Thin Ice and 3 Troll Bridge, so we can push enemy minions onto these sites. Thin Ice, of course, is a very strong new site in Gothic that pairs extraordinarily well with coinixie, which we're running 3 copies of, because Thin Ice is, at the end of your turn, minions top the site. If their power is 5 or more, you submerge them. And coinixie, she has Submerge, and she has 2 power, and she can pull minions towards her. So if you'll bring her up on your turn, pull in a 3 power minion, and then at the end of your turn, that's 5 power. They all get submerged. coinixie survives, though, because she has Submerge, and then she's alive at the end, too. So it's a very, very powerful, very annoying combo to deal with. But there are ways. We're playing Orm Infester. This is like a newer card that I've added into the deck. I've been playing this deck for like at least 2 weeks now, I think. But it's definitely, I'm feeling good enough to actually present it now. Orm Infester is one of my newer additions. I used to be playing Rivers of Blood as additional rivers and fire threshold, but I kind of decided that I would like a little bit of healing because I am doing a lot of damage to myself, and that I don't really care if my opponent heals. I don't consider this an aggro deck. It's kind of like, I guess you would call it a control deck. I view it as like an attrition deck. That's how most of my games play out, is I sort of start off on the back foot, but I just have a lot of ways to like get value out of my cards, accrue card advantage, and I can just sort of like run an opponent out of resources and like turn the corner with this deck. And so I kind of decided I would value a little bit of healing. But people do play Rivers of Blood, so I didn't want to go like the Angel's Egg approach. I kind of like the Orm Infestors, because even if Rivers of Blood are on the board, Orm Infestors do deal 1, and it's a slow grind, a slow burn that the deck kind of supports because we can do a slow grind. Ironclad kind of like, he's just a tank, right? So like there's nothing aggressive about him inherently. Like people do the Voltron thing, but like that's not what this deck is doing, and that's just nothing in the ability that like says like you smash heads, right? So games do go long with this deck, and Orm Infester is a good way to just keep you topped up and just slowly draining the opponent out. Kobolds are another card where they kind of work with Ironclad because you don't need a minion to punch. You can just have them punch you, and they'll do no damage to you. So ordinarily, Kobolds are a really bad turn 3 play because, well, what doesn't change is that they're terrible blockers. I don't like to run out Kobolds on 3 just for that reason. But if you're not up against an aggressive matchup where like you need a blocker on 3, you can play out the Kobolds, and they just punch you, and it means nothing. So that's really nice. Our top end is a ton of value. We talked about the Inquisition, but Lilith just hangs out and just starts revealing opponent spells and summoning their minions and just accruing you value that way. Maiden Mother Crone has some nice healing attached to her, but she's also just a mana sink where you can just draw with her ability, and like that's just really good. If she goes unchecked, she can take over games. talked about the Inquisition, and also Sir Mordred, who just kind of comes down, kills a guy, is a 4-power body, and then if he dies adjacent to something, can kill something else. So like really good, like usually just a 2-for-1, but has 3-for-1 potential. Lady of the Lake lets us like recur, Sir Mordred. A lot of our artifacts, I talked about the Poisonous Dagger. I think I talked about the Poisonous Dagger. I don't remember. We're playing 1 copy of Poisonous Dagger because I really like it, especially if we have the Sugar Plum Pixies where they can untap us. I love the Sugar Plum Pixies. If we can find them in our opening hand, the game changes so much because we can play our sites, and usually you'll play a T with 3 sites in the back, so that basically you have these 4 sites that are completely defendable from your position. And while you're tapping to play sites or draw sites or draw from the manuscript, the Pixies just untap you, and that leaves you ready as a blocker. So like against these aggressive red decks where it's like, okay, here come the red cap poweries hitting you for 3, you just block them and you take 1. And over many turns, that buys you so much time in a game. And if you have the Poisonous Dagger, now you just kill things. So I thought about doing like Sword and Shield to just like, you know, have the power to kill things. But like sometimes there's like 4-power minions. Sometimes there's bigger stuff. I just like having the dagger because it kind of just gets the job done for me. And I don't have to worry too much about like the opponent getting it, like with a swap or something. I'm way more afraid of like, you know, a Dapple Vampire getting a Sword and Shield rather than like getting a Poison Dagger, because the vampire is probably going to be against this deck. Like a vampire is going to kill like everything anyways. So the dagger is nice for me. 3 copies of Toolbox. We can talk about the collection. Firebolts is great. Gift of the Serpent. It cycles. Haven't had too many uses for this, honestly, because a lot of time, well, so going into it, we have Grievous Insult, which I started playing because a lot of times when I wanted Gift of the Serpent, it would be like against an airborne minion. Like think of like a Dapple Vampire. And I can't attack it, even if I give my minion lethal. But with Grievous Insult, I can, because it loses airborne, and it will lose its healing ability. So, and it cycles like Gift of the Serpent. So I have one of each because we just have the space. But I do like Grievous Insult in the Toolbox. Violimp is just like so good, right? Drown, you know, we don't play all water sites and we don't know what our opponent will play, but being able to just put a Drown in the toolbox so that if it comes up, it's there. Love that. Hamlet's Ablaze, because I like to be able to deal with sites that give me a hard time. Minor Explosion kills Morgana Le Fay. It can be a 2-for-1 sometimes. It's a good finisher. I run 2 Angry Mobs because it's my favorite card to put in the toolbox. It doesn't always work because some elites and uniques are like back row units. You think of like Lilith, Maiden Mother Crone, you know, Morgana Le Fay, even Adept Illusionist kind of. Like these aren't really minions that you'll be able to summon something adjacent to often. But there are like threatening elites and uniques. There's like Hydras. There's the elite Demon Lords. Sturmgeist, things like that are very popular and very strong. So being able to, you know, 4 mana, get a 3/3 that just kills something immediately is huge, especially like a big threat. So 2 of those because I love them. And Sea Serpent is maybe a little strange, but the coinixie thing is really annoying. the coinixie like Thin Ice gameplay, a lot of decks like use this combo and it's gonna be so hard to get around. So I just want a big submerge unit that can just like bully out the coinixies. Back in the beta days, I used to play Sandworm in decks. This is before collections, but we had Common Sense, right? You could Common Sense for a Sandworm, and they were there to bully out Root Spiders. And I feel like now Sea Serpent is here to bully out coinixie because, oh, so annoying, but so good. So that's our collection. We're playing Golden Harp. Golden Harp is a great combo card with Ironclad because Ironclad says you take 2 less damage. Golden Harp says strike damage and life loss caused by nearby units is reduced to 2. Now, because you control both of these effects, you get to order them. So you would order Golden Harp to apply first, reducing strike damage to 2. And then Ironclad says you take 2 less damage, so you take no damage. And that's pretty nuts, because now, how do you die? Like magics, basically, like lightning bolt gets you and things like that, but you can kind of play around that. And, you know, they need to just basically pop the harp, which is possible. It's a really strong combo when you get to pull it off, though. So really cool stuff there. Order the Sacred Oak is a really good unit. There's some cards I'm a little bit finicky with, like Peasant Revolt here. If I've gone back and forth between Peasant Revolt and Symmetric Suffering. Peasant Revolt hits sites that I have problems with, in particular Garden of Eden, and you'll kind of see we have 2 Castles Ablaze as well. So like we're really prepared to deal with Garden of Eden. Other things too, like the Void. There's really strong sites in Gothic, and we just want to be prepared for that. But Peasant Revolt, a lot of our minions are elite unique. You look at our entire top end, and it's just like elites uniques. Agravain as well, Orm Infestors, Morgana, Ino. So we definitely, our sites are pretty safe. We have a lot of ordinary exceptionals. The only uniques are Fields, River of Flame, River Rapids. But I like all of these, so not too keen on blowing them up. But you can get rid of the aura that Interrogator plays, the Sphere of Animosity. Jihad and Eclipse, you know, those are classics that just get popped. A lot of, like, artifacts that fire, like monuments. You don't have a lot of good ways to deal with monuments in Fire Water, but Peasant Revolt deals with the higher rarity ones. The Omphaloses. There's a lot of things that Peasant Revolt kills that you want to kill. Symmetric Suffering kind of does the same thing, though, as long as you have something to sacrifice yourself. Like, I'm playing Forge, you know, to get a Lance token so that I could, like, sacrifice a Lance and make the opponent sack an artifact. I feel like Atlantean Fate is a really nice aura to sacrifice because it kind of comes down and does its thing. And then it lingers, but like, and sometimes it does Threshold Screw, and that's nice. But sometimes it isn't doing enough in that sense, and you can just sack it, kill one of their auras. Same with the Great Famine, too. It comes down, it kills a unit, and then maybe it lingers and kills another thing, but you could just sack it and have them pop an aura. So I think Symmetric Suffering is good. Right now I'm on Peasant Revolt. We'll see if I stick with that. But we got, 2 Swap, 2 Infiltrate, 2 Disintegrate. In Steam decks, it's always interesting because you have access to Disintegrate and Polymorph. They're both kind of like in the same slot, I feel like. I like Disintegrate more, even though it's 1 mana more. You giving them a frog is bad news. I don't like that. If they're Interrogator, they can hit you with that frog, trigger their ability. If they're like Avatar of Air, they can put a Rolling Boulder in that frog's hands and mess you up. I just don't trust it. I want that minion gone. So I play Disintegrates. Sacred Stag has really impressed me as a minion. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of just like the deck. I think I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I've had a lot of fun with this deck and a lot of success with it in like the recent week, after some fine tuning and all that. It all started off of just saying, I want to Searing Truth Inquisition. But it's a really fun deck. It is slow. Like I said, it kind of turns the corner. There's like a mid-game point. There's like an early game where like you're just kind of, fighting off minions and like doing your best to survive. And then a mid-game where it feels like you're just doing nothing. But eventually you turn the corner. And, whether that's through like a couple Searing Truths or hitting Lilith or Maiden Mother or, just Poison Dagger, being able to start effectively trading with everything. Eventually you turn the corner and you just start to outvalue your opponent, and that's when you can like mount your offensive. So I kind of I guess this does fall in control, but like I call it an attrition deck because it's really like I'm going to like run you out of resources and then I'm going to just amount resources myself. It's really fun. Deck list link is in the description below. I forgot to do that last time, so I will do that this time. And this will also go public as soon as this video uploads, so you can just find it on Curiosa, My Body as a Shield. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun with the deck. Let me know your takes on Ironclad below, or if there's another avatar in Gothic that you're having fun with, let me know what you've been playing. I'll tell you, I haven't played Necromancer or Interrogator yet. And it's like, it's just the inner contrarian in myself, because I know a lot of people, like, those are the popular avatars right now. I just don't want to play them. Like, Ironclad, like, you know, I haven't seen anybody rocking Ironclad, so I want, like, but I've been having a lot of fun with him, really. So definitely give this one a try, and let me know what you've been enjoying in Gothic so far. I've had a lot of fun playing these past couple of weeks. Been playing a ton more sorcery than I have been in recent months, and I'm super here for it. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the deck tech. Leave a like, a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.